Part 165. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 1641. Chapter 1641 Extra Chapter of the Chi Couple, 15. Hanzija carefully served Muniankai for more than 9 months, and finally welcomed the birth of Dian. When Dian was born, Hanzija was so moved that he cried bitterly, as if he had been born in 10 months of pregnancy. But when the exhausted Muniankai saw Dian for the first time, she was stunned, and then said, "Damn it, Hanzija, this child is so ugly." Muniankai had been imagining the appearance of this child when she was 2 months old. She even used countless online synthesis software and used science and technology to synthesize many possible appearances of her future child. Moreover, every picture looks good whether it is a boy or a girl. After all, parents are so good looking, and as long as their genetic mutations are kept within a reasonable level, their children will not be ugly. But Muniankai quickly broke this idea when she saw the newborn Dian. Muniankai began to wonder if the hospital had reported an error. However, it turned out that this was her child. Hanzija is quite accepting, as if Muniankai gave birth to a piglet in her belly, he could happily take it home and raise it. Where is it ugly? Newborn children are like this, and they will look better when they grow up. Hanzija seemed to be very experienced and talked to Muniankai. Muniankai rolled her eyes. "It's not like I haven't seen photos of newborns on the internet. This child is really ugly. It's okay, the girl has changed a lot, and she's becoming more and more beautiful. If she doesn't become as rich as us, we can just give her a full face when she grows up." Hanzija is very open-minded. Muniankai spent a few days accepting that this wrinkled, yellowish little creature was her daughter who was born in 10 months of pregnancy. However, in the following time, Dian did like magic. Her skin became whiter and whiter, and her facial features became clearer. By 3 months, the prototype of a beautiful woman could already be seen. Babies are truly an amazing species. In the first few months of life, it was almost the same day to day. Dian started toddling when she was 1 year old, started babbling at the age of 2, and was already a well-spoken little girl at the age of 3. Muniankai watched Dots and Dots grow bigger and bigger, and something called motherhood expanded more and more in her body. Later on, Hanzija became more and more busy at work. He usually came home very late, so Muniankai became a hot mom, taking a little bit with her everywhere to play and learn some interesting things every day. Later, Xiaoying came back with a little angel-like milk baby Xiaojin. Muniankai fell in love with Xiaoying's son Xiaojin at a glance. She wanted to be with Xiaojin as her childhood sweetheart, and then they would naturally get together when they grew up. Muniankai's calculation was very good, but despite all the calculations, she never thought that Xiaojin was a very different little boy. Xiaojin doesn't like to play with children of the same age, especially girls. Muniankai initially invited Xiaojin to play at their home, but Xiaojin remained silent. Even though Dian was very enthusiastic, Xiaojin was still in a cold state. Muniankai held her chin and thought, this is not an option. She has to find a way to get Xiaojin to make friends with Dian, or at least make Xiaojin like Dian and be willing to play with Dian. However, Muniankai tried her best, but still had little effect. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 1642. Chapter 1642 Extra Chapter of the Chi Couple, 16. When Muniankai told Hanzija her concerns, Hanzija laughed, "Isn't it superfluous? We are so beautiful and cute, why are we afraid that we won't be able to marry into a good family in the future? Besides, the children are still young, why are you in such a hurry? Or are you tired of the role of mother and want to be a grandmother ahead of time?" Muniankai rolled her eyes, "What do you know? Zyajin is a high-quality man who is rare to see in 1,000 years. He is exactly like his father, a rare high-quality man. If you don't seize this opportunity, you will take advantage of other people's daughters. Hanzaja lowered his face, looked at Muniankai, and said seriously, "Isn't it bad for you to praise other people's husbands in front of your own husband? I'll work hard for you in exchange for you spending all day. Are you a nymphomaniac to you, Lingfeng?" Muniankai smiled and patted Hanzaja's arm. "How jealous are you? I'm just telling the truth. Do you dare to say that you are comparable to you, Lingfeng?" Hanzaja twitched the corner of his mouth and replied angrily, "Then you have to see if you can compare with Xia Ying." Muniankai turned cold and said, "Damn it, Hanzaja, do you know how to chat? Didn't I learn this from you? Damn, do you regret breaking up with Xia Ying? Xia Ying is so good, why don't you propose to me? Are you mentally retarded?" Hanzaja's face darkened, and he felt like he was in trouble. "Damn it, he said the wrong thing again." Hanzaja approached Muniankai with a smile and said with a smile, "Xia Ying is good, but in my heart she is still not as good as my baby Muniankai, right?" "Humph, a man's mouth is a liar," Muniankai said as she picked up the quilt and pillows and prepared to share the bed with Hanzaja. Hanzaja was stunned, took Muniankai's hand and said, "Hey, why are you going? I don't want to sleep with you anymore. I'll sleep with Dian Dian and you'll be quiet. I wish you can dream of your goddess Xia Ying at night." Hanzaja. Can you change your face so quickly? Hanzaja watched Muniankai slam the door and leave, and then the footsteps became farther and farther away, and then he heard another clang. The door of Diandian's room was opened, and Muniankai walked in with a clatter. Dian Dian, who was eating a snack at this time, was stunned. The hand holding the snack froze, and his mouth was still chewing, and there were crumbs on one side of his lips. Dian Dian's heart was in her throat. It was too bad, she was caught eating snacks secretly. Muniankai stared at Dian Dian, walked towards her, snatched away Diandian's snacks, and said angrily, "Dandian, are you stealing snacks again?" Dian Dian lowered his head, reached out and gestured aggrievedly, "I only ate a little, really not much." Muniankai squinted and pointed at the empty snack bags, potato chips, bear biscuits, cranberries. Is she an adopted daughter or a little hamster that steals food? Muniankai began to doubt. "I made the mistake of messing with Mom, I won't dare to do it again." Hunching up his neck with a little milky sound, he stretched out his little hand and promised. At this time, Hanzaja came over and saw Hanzaja teaching Dian Dian with his arms akimbo. He happened to walk over and took Muniankai's arm. "Hey, I said Diandian's bed is so small, how can I squeeze you in? Come on. Come back with me and stop making trouble." Dian Dian thought that she still had a bag of potato chips that had not been confiscated, so she immediately started to change sides and said, "Yes, Mom, go back to bed quickly and don't get into trouble with Dad." End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 1643. Chapter 1643 Extra Chapter of the Chi Couple, 17. Hanzaja blinked at his little helper, and the two of them successfully reached an agreement. Muniankai looked at the two people unabashedly dividing their camps under her eyes, working together to bully her, and said dissatisfiedly, "What are you, father and daughter, doing? Are you isolating me? No way, we are working together to make you happy." Hanzaja said with his waist bent. "Yes, Mom, you are so cool and warm, how can we be willing to bully you? And Mom, girls will get old easily if they are angry too much." Dian Dian, this thoughtful little cotton padded jacket has begun to play its role. Hanzaja gave a thumbs up. He is really good at talking. This sentence obviously touched the heart of Muniankai, a beauty lover. Muniankai breathed a long sigh of relief and said helplessly, "I really can't stand you two anymore." Then he returned with the quilt in his arms. Hanzija walked over and clapped with Dion, who also smiled happily. However, the next second after Hanzija accurately snatched away the only bag of potato chips that Dion had hidden, Dion's face suddenly changed. "Daddy, you're in violation. I've already helped you, why are you still trying to grab my potato chips?" Hanzija touched Dion's little head and said, "Be good, Dion. Dad is also helping you. He will take away the potato chips for you so that you won't eat too many snacks and become fat and get cavities. You won't look good. Brother Zyajin is even worse, do not like you." After hearing the words "Brother Zyajin doesn't like you anymore," Dion felt as if his acupoints were tapped and he immediately became well behaved. Then he watched with distress as his potato chips were taken away by Hanzija and the door was closed. Although Zyajin treats Dion very coldly, Dion can't help but like this little brother very much. He is good looking, smart, and super cool, and Dion likes his parents very much. For Dion at this age, Zyajin is her little boy god. Zyajin's father is her male idol. A certain abandoned father Hanmumua. This daughter is really wasted. When the second part of Xia Ying's book Love Across Time and Space came out, it attracted much attention. Generally speaking, the sequels of ordinary fire books cannot surpass the popularity of the previous ones. However, this ironclad law does not apply to Xia Ying. The second part mainly tells the story of the male and female protagonists after their marriage, that is, based on Xia Ying and Yu Lingfeng. In the first part, the male protagonist left after the two got married. Many readers are not satisfied with the ending, and are looking forward to when the male protagonist will reappear, and how the female protagonist will spend the days when the male protagonist is away, because the ending of the previous part is also written the heroine was already pregnant when the hero left. In the second part, a little milk baby based on Zyajin appeared, which was loved by many readers. Many people are also looking forward to the film and television version of the second part, especially the milk doll in the book. Many people are recommending Zyajin to star. After all, the male and female protagonists of the first part are Xia Ying, so it would be natural for the second part to be played by their family of three. Originally, Yu Lingfeng was still concerned about when Xia Ying would let the public know that she was Xia Feng, the author of the book. However, an accident made this happen suddenly. Ye Xiaoxun was asked by a reporter at a book signing event what he thought of the book Love Across Time and Space that has become popular in the past 2 years. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 1644. Chapter 1644 Extra Chapter of the Qi Couple, 18. Ye Xiaoxun is a representative figure of the new generation of female writers, and Xia Feng, the author, is one of the rising stars who receive the most attention. Originally, reporters only tried to make things difficult for Ye Xiaoxun based on the mentality of being a literary person. Unexpectedly, Ye Xiaoxun replied casually, "I like it very much. She is great, and I have been helping her with suggestions during the process of writing the book. I told her before it was published that this book would be a big hit, so I'm not surprised that it's so popular now." So the mysterious author Xia Feng, who has never appeared before, is your good friend in real life. Ye Xiaoxun realized that he seemed to have missed something when the reporter asked him this. Then he narrowed his eyes and smiled, and then made a few perfunctory remarks and excused himself. However, the video of this press conference was posted online, which caused netizens to discuss the mysterious author Xia Feng. Who is Xia Feng, was the top trending search on Weibo. There are countless comments from netizens on this hot search, among which the most popular netizen posted 99% of Xia Feng is Xia Ying, come fight if you don't agree. A long Weibo with a title like this. First of all, let's look at the naming. If you look at it, even a blind person can see some clues in the format of Xiaofang Xiaoying. Furthermore, there are probably not many good friends of Ye Xiaoxun in real life who are good enough to help read the manuscript and provide comments throughout the process. Xiaofang is a new author. She mentioned it before in written interviews, so Xiaofang must not be an author friend like Ye Xiaoxun. And we all know that Ye Xiaoxun only has a few good friends. Tanguo, Mu Niankai, and Xiaoying. According to the description and writing style in Xiaofang's book, it must not be Mu Niankai and Tanguo. Many plots in the book collide with Xiaoying's real life. The heroine likes music and is a child star. Although Xiaoying is not an actress, she has actress-level acting skills. The following is my list of the places where Xiaoying and Xiaofang collide with the female pig's feet in the book. Finally, doesn't anyone think that Xiao Neibeo's personality is too similar to Xiao Jin's? It is simply carved out of the same mold. At Xiaoying. Baliu. Come out quickly and clarify, is it you? There was a lot of commotion on the internet. Not long after, is Xiaofang the same as Xiaoying, became a hot search topic. Oh my god. If Xiaofang were Xiaoying, then Xiaoying would be so versatile. No, this walking Mary Sue makes me jealous. Reply to the blogger, Xiaoying smells like a Mary Sue from head to toe, okay. If Xiaoying is really Xiaofang, I mean, then I really like the same person from the beginning to the end, ha 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 ha. Ah. My favorite actors and singers are all Xiaoying, now my favorite author will also become Xiaoying? Please stop spreading your charm. Is it really funny? Where did Xiaoying find the time to write a book? Is it a no-brainer to say that Xiaoying is Xiaofang? Xiaofang's writing style seems to have been written all year round, right? How could it be Xiaoying? It's so embarrassing to buy from this hot search. Xiaoying really wants to take advantage of all the heat? Do you really think of yourself as a national goddess? Goodbye to you when the road turns dark. Then, at 9 o'clock that evening, Xiaoying's Weibo was updated. I am sorry to tell you now, well, I am Xiaofang. The accompanying picture is the saved information about love across time and space in Xiaoying's computer folder. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 1645. Chapter 1645 Extra Chapter of the Qi Couple, 19. As soon as Xiaoying posted on Weibo, it was no surprise that it became a hot search list on Weibo. Originally, the author Xiaofang has attracted countless fans because of one book, and now that the original author of the vest is revealed to be Xiaoying, the internet immediately became a buzz. Those who used to talk about Xiaoying's hot search for buying things were all as quiet as chickens and said nothing. Because the facts are already in front of you, and saying anything else will only make the slap in the face even more severe. Ye Xiaoxun immediately contacted Xiaoying and said, "Are you really ready to give up your vest?" Xiaoying smiled, "I wasn't ready at first, but now I have to do this, right?" Ye Xiaoxun sighed and said, "It's almost a slip of the tongue that I let it slip. It's okay, everyone will know sooner or later anyway." Xiaoying seemed very carefree and didn't think there was anything wrong. After the author's identity was exposed, Xiaoying remained on Weibo's hot search list for many days, and various hot searches about her followed. For example, the true national goddess Xiaoying, Xiaoying can do everything, Xiaoying is simply an all-powerful goddess, and so on. This is not the first time that Xiaoying has been on the hot search list because of being praised, but this is the first time that she has been bombarded by so many rainbow farts at the same time. Xiaoying herself was flattered. He even asked Yu Lingfeng, "Is it the hot search you bought for me?" Yu Lingfeng pushed the gold-rimmed flat mirror in front of him, raised his head from the book, and replied slowly, "Do you think I am someone who does this kind of thing?" Xiaoying was silent, feeling overjoyed. Xia Ying suddenly thought of the promise she made when she was just reborn. She wanted to stand at the top of the pyramid, she wanted to become the national goddess, and she wanted to reach the pinnacle of life. Now it seems that she has done it all. Muni Ankai didn't know when she suddenly became obsessed with design and started designing various jewelry pendants. At first, Hanzija only thought that Muni Ankai was just having a little fun, but he never thought that after a while, Muni Ankai would actually do something great. Muni Ankai participated in a jewelry design competition and won the first prize. At the same time, she was bought by a noble lady on the spot. Although this may be an inconspicuous honor in the design world, for a novice like Muni Ankai who has just entered this industry, the weight of this award is heavy. Muni Ankai happily told Hanzija the news. Hanzija was also shocked. He looked at Muni Ankai in disbelief and said, that's amazing. Humph, I see you didn't think highly of me back then. What, it's a slap in the face. Muni Ankai was a little embarrassed. Hanzija smiled and said unabashedly, I didn't dislike you. I didn't take this matter seriously at all. I thought you were just playing for fun, just like when you played flower arranging and tea art. I had nothing to do and found something to pass the time. Who would have thought that you still persisted? Muni Ankai rolled her eyes. Have I not been exploring the direction I want? No, haven't I found it? Muni Ankai was still immersed in joy, humming a little tune wherever she went happily. Hanzija complained, I hope you can persevere. I certainly will. Muni Ankai said, and looked at Dian Dian aside, who was playing with Muni Ankai's semi-finished product yesterday. Dandian seems to like this too, so I'll start from a young age and train Dian Dian to be my successor. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 1646. Chapter 1646 Extra Chapter of the Chi Couple, 20. Hanzija scoffed unscrupulously, I said it's too early for you to make such big talk. You don't have great ambitions yet, so why are you cultivating a successor? Muni Ankai said angrily, I am slowly building my career, building bit by bit. Hanzija nodded perfunctorily and said, well, whenever you need me to help, just give me a shout. But, it's the greatest help if you don't pour cold water on me. Muni Ankai said angrily, then picked up the handbag she placed on the sofa and prepared to go out. Hanzija's head moved half a circle as Muni Ankai moved. Where are you going? Hanzija said, taking a sip of the tea in his hand, but his eyes were still locked on Muni Ankai. I'm going to buy clothes. Hanzija raised his forehead and said, didn't you just buy it yesterday? Then you had dinner yesterday, do you want to eat today? Muni Ankai retorted confidently, and then carefully selected a pair of shoes from her dazzling array of shoe cabinets that matched her outfit today. She looked at the small mirror happily, touched up her lipstick, and was ready to go out. Hanzija watched the whole process with an expressionless face. By the way, I don't have time to go to the wedding of Chu Shenxiu and the little princess of country S next month. Please tell Xia Ying for me. Hanzija finished speaking and added another sentence. I happened to be on a business trip at that time. Muni Ankai was about to walk out the door. When she heard Hanzija's words, she turned her head and looked at him. Don't you have a mouth? You can speak for yourself. After saying that, Muni Ankai closed the door with a clang. Hanzija was in a mess in the wind. I don't know who makes him jealous every time he mentions Xia Ying, but now he can still let him communicate with Xia Ying privately? Sure enough, within a minute, the door opened again. Muni Ankai leaned forward, stared at Hanzija, and said word by word, actually, it doesn't matter whether you go or not. I only invited you because of me, so you don't have to go out of your way to say it. After Muniankai finished speaking, she slammed the door again. Hanzija. Why does Muniankai's words become more and more strange the more I hear them? You can obviously say I'll just tell you for you, or it doesn't matter if you go or not, they don't care at all. Why do you have to express it in such a tactful, difficult to understand and offensive language? Hanzija thought maybe this was Muniankai. While Muniankai was still going out, she called Xia Ying and told Xia Ying that Hanzija wasn't going. After all, I have been invited and it is a royal wedding. If you want to go, you must inform the host so that the seats can be arranged. In fact, everyone was at a loss about the relationship between Chu Shengming and the little princess. Especially Xia Ying and Chu Shengming clearly remembered how much Chu Shenxiu rejected the engagement with the little princess before going to country S. Who knows, I went back for a few months and then stayed in country S and refused to return to China. The large-scale real fragrance is on the scene. According to Chu Shenming's only understanding, it seems that she was the little princess that Chu Shenxiu was pursuing. It is said that the little princess was also opposed to the marriage at first. So how did two people who mutually reject each other and oppose marrying each other develop feelings in just a few months, and reach the point where they are now talking about marriage? But when everyone asked Chu Shenxiu said with a smile, "Fate is destined, it is wonderful." When everyone asked the little princess said, "It's probably the kind of love at first sight that lasts for a long time." End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 1647. Chapter 1647 Extra Chapter of the Chu Brothers, 1. S Country. Chu Shengming and Chu Shenxiu got off the plane. Chu Shenxiu kept a straight face and showed no expression from beginning to end. Chu Shengming glanced at him, handed him a bottle of water, and said, "Take a sip. I see you didn't even drink water on the plane just now." Chu Shenxiu took it and mechanically poured a sip of water into his mouth. Then he tightened the cap of the bottle, held the water in his hand, and held it tightly. The whole process was silent. "Are you so unhappy when you return to country S? It's your motherland after all," Chu Shengming said slowly. Chu Shenxiu looked sideways at Chu Shengming. "Brother, you clearly know what makes me unhappy. Just think of it as a blind date, but it's just that the person is a princess." Chu Shengming's words made the wind rise, but Chu Shenxiu was disdainful. "It would be nice if it was just an ordinary blind date. If you don't like it, you can still pull her away, contact her again, but just because she is a princess, can I still help her?" What's more, His Majesty the King's intention did not allow Chu Shenxiu to have a choice. The marriage that had been decided since a young age would have changed long ago if it could have been possible. As for now, if you are really so unhappy, you should find a girlfriend as soon as possible, Chu Shengming said. "Anyway, you are still single in your 20s now. The royal family thought you were looking forward to this marriage, so they waited bitterly. Let the princess grow up." Chu Shenxiu. "Brother, do you think I don't want to find a girlfriend? Aren't I looking seriously but not finding one?" After Chu Shenxiu finished speaking, he thought about it and then turned the topic to Chu Shengming. "Hey, I said, brother, why are you still talking about me? Don't you also have a girlfriend? We are equal, no one can laugh at anyone." Hearing this, Chu Shengming said nothing, but touched his nose with an unnatural expression. Chu Shenxiu felt something was wrong. He stared at Chu Shengming suspiciously for a while, and then said, "Brother, are you already single without me? Are you with little Candy? You are really good at brainstorming." Chu Shengming rolled his eyes at him. Chu Shenxiu nodded and said to himself, "Yes, brother, you have said before that you don't like stupid girls. The little Candy is indeed a bit silly and sweet, but she is still quite cute, brother, don't you will appreciate it." Chu Shengming frowned. "You would appreciate your pursuit of others, wouldn't it?" Chu Shenxiu smiled and said, "No, My good friend Little Candy and I are doing well, but we don't want to go any further. An imperceptible smile overflowed from the corner of Chu Shenming's mouth. But if we can't get rid of each other all the time, it's okay for two people to make do together. Chu Shenming was startled and looked at Chu Shenxiu. Chu Shenxiu was still immersed in his own world and continued to talk to himself. Anyway, Little Candy also likes you. I look the same as you, so she treats her as her own. I've just found a replacement, and I'm really not picky, as long as I don't hate him. It seems good to be together. Who is like you? Chu Shenming interrupted Chu Shenxiu and said coldly, besides, do you think Tanguo likes appearance? Otherwise it's your weird personality. Chu Shenming's face darkened. Don't cause harm to others. You should think carefully about how to deal with your underage fiancé at the royal banquet tonight. Shenxiu had 3 black lines on his forehead. Brother, can you leave the pot alone and not open the pot? Extras about the little princess and Chu Shenxiu, Chu Shenming and Little Candy. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuan Suya. Chapter 1648. Chapter 1648 Extra Chapter of the Chu Brothers, 2. Chu Shenming ignored Chu Shenxiu and quickened his pace. Chu Shenxiu chased Chu Shenming from behind and shouted, Hey, brother, you really don't want to help me think of a solution? What should I do? Huh? Brother. Brother. Dear brother. Save me. It's so noisy. Chu Shenming turned around and complained with a cold face. Chu Shenxiu pursed his lips silently, Brother, when a disaster is approaching, you can't leave me alone. Are you sure you don't know how to deal with such a simple thing? Chu Shenming said as he got into the car. When Chu Shenxiu heard what Chu Shenming said, his heart suddenly brightened up. He also got into the car and asked hurriedly, Huh? Brother, what are you really good at? Any solution? The car started and was ready to drive to Chu's house. Chu Shenming and Chu Shenxiu were sitting in the car, and the latter kept holding onto the former's arm in pain, asking for help. Chu Shenming glanced at Chu Shenxiu with disgust. Isn't this simple? If you really don't want to marry the little princess, just show off and make the little princess unwilling to marry you. Chu Shenxiu was stunned, his eyes widened, he patted Chu Shenming's shoulder excitedly, and said with a smile, Oh, brother, you are really amazing. Why didn't I think of that? But after Chu Shenxiu calmed down and thought about it, he asked again, But brother, how do I know which type the little princess likes and which type she hates? Actually, just showing yourself is enough to make people annoying. Chu Shenxiu. No, brother, I'm not joking. Me neither. Chu Shenming's expression did not change. Chu Shenxiu was going crazy. He grabbed the corner of Chu Shenming's clothes and said, Ball broke, my brother did. If you don't tell me, I will go crazy. What kind of boys do you think girls hate? Chu Shenming asked. Chu Shenxiu frowned and thought, scumbag. The kind that deceives other people's feelings. Look, don't you have a direction? Chu Shenming shrugged. Chu Shenxiu thought seriously, but I don't even have a girlfriend, how can I play the role of a scumbag? This is your own problem. Moreover, girls not only hate scumbags, but also male chauvinists, boys who look down on girls, and people with low emotional intelligence who are also annoying to girls. Anyway, you behave like this, just be annoying. If the princess doesn't like it, just go in that direction. If the princess hates it, just like it. Go against her in everything. Don't worry about her not hating you. Chu Shenxiu's eyes lit up after hearing Chu Shenming's words, Oh my God, brother, you are so amazing. You are simply my lucky star. If the marriage between me and the little princess is successfully dissolved, brother, I will do my best to repay you. Chu Shenming glanced at Chu Shenxiu slowly and said, You don't need to be a cow or a horse. You can go to the temple to burn incense and worship Buddha for me, and I will be satisfied. Why? Chu Shenxia was puzzled. When did his brother become a Buddhist? Why didn't he know? Have you never heard that it would be better to demolish a temple than break up a marriage? If I do this, I'm afraid my life will be shortened. Chu Shenming said seriously. Chu Shenxia smiled, ha ha ha, brother, when did you learn to be humorous? Chu Shenming has changed a lot compared to before. In the past, Chu Shenming was as serious as a robot, as if every expression was programmed in advance. There's no interest at all, let alone a sense of humor. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yuen Suya. Chapter 1649. Chapter 1649 Extra Chapter of the Chu Brothers, 3. Chu Shenming was startled. He seemed to have realized something. He seemed to have changed a lot without knowing it. Not only your own personality, but also your own mood and aesthetics. Chu Shenming thought so and reached into his pocket. There was a small peace charm lying there. He still remembered that when Tanguo handed it to him, she smiled so sweetly, with the shyness unique to a young girl, and said with embarrassment, "That is the peace charm I asked for you, it can bless you yours, you must carry it with you." Chu Shenming sneered. He is a scientific theorist, and things like the peace talisman are really nonsense to him. But it was obvious that he had countless opportunities to throw away the so-called peace charm starting from the airport. But he stopped inexplicably every time, as if by touching it, the little peace charm began to gain warmth and emotion. Chu Shenming was very surprised to find that he seemed to be increasingly reluctant to throw it away. It seems that after losing it, the memory of the smiling girl has been cast into a shadow. This feeling has always enveloped him, so that Chu Shenming didn't have time to throw away the thing until he returned to the Chu family. Forget it, it's not a bad thing anyway. Even if you don't believe it, you won't do anything wrong if you keep it. With this thought in mind, Chu Shenming kept this peace talisman. After returning to the Chu family, Mrs. Chu and the Chu brothers chatted for a while, and then the family prepared to go to the palace for a banquet. Chu Shenxia followed the tips given to him by Chu Shenming and had already planned the items he would perform later. He had even prepared every sentence that would be annoying to say. But when it came to the banquet, the princess did not show up. According to the king and queen, the princess had contracted an illness and would have to stay in bed to recuperate during this period. And because he is contagious, no one can visit him. Chu Shenxia felt depressed. Oh my God, he had worked so hard to prepare for so many days in vain, but she didn't show up at all. Chu Shenxia felt uncomfortable at the moment. During the entire banquet, he only focused on eating and answering questions from the royal family members from time to time. However, the princess's physical condition seemed to be not very good. Chu Shenxia remembered that he had never seen the princess very often. She was either studying abroad or recuperating from illness. She is really a delicate and frail princess. Chu Shenxia's favorable impression of this fiancée whom he had never met became even worse. At this time, the princess's bedroom. Your Highness, do you really plan to do this? The princess's maid Guerlain asked anxiously. The little princess Ling Xingyu has always been the most favored princess in the royal family. In addition to her outstanding appearance, she was widely rumored to be the most beautiful princess in the royal family when she was a child. And the princess has been well protected in recent years. The people do not know the appearance of the princess who has just grown into a girl, but based on her appearance when she was a child, it is estimated that it will not be much worse. Moreover, the little princess is versatile, and the education she received since childhood also determines that she will be an outstanding princess. In addition, The little princess is very talented and has made great achievements in many fields. He has been a top student since he was a child. He is proficient in musical instruments and painting. He likes musicals and everything that is elegant and art-related. She is a well-deserved goddess in the eyes of the people of country S, and a princess who always gives a thumbs up when she is mentioned. End of this chapter. The Return of the National Goddess. Author, Yun Suya. Chapter 1650. Chapter 1650 Extra Chapter of the Chu Brothers, 4. Also because she has grown up surrounded by praise from others, Her Royal Highness the Princess cannot accept the fact that she has a fiancé. She is obviously the best princess, why can't she choose her future husband by herself? Why should he be at the mercy of the royal family and marry a man he doesn't know? The little princess was still very young when she met Chu Sensiu. She no longer had any memory. She only saw a photo of herself and the boy in some old photos taken by the royal family. The little boy named Chu Sensiu in the photo is delicate and handsome, but he is very tired of the baby that was forced into his lap, especially the baby that keeps crying, even the eyes in the photo are it was always red and swollen. Humph, it's obvious that the boy has never liked me since he was a child. But the princess knew very well what kind of person her father was. Since the decision had already been made, it was difficult to undo it. So even if the little princess doesn't want to marry, she can't unreasonably say that she won't marry unless she finds Chu Sensiu's fatal weakness and can completely defeat his image in the past. Let the king change his mind and take back his life. Since we are looking for the opponent's weaknesses, we must understand the opponent very well, so the little princess plans to penetrate into the enemy to obtain first-hand intelligence and information. The little princess deliberately deceived the king and said that she wanted to know what kind of person her fiancé was. She said that she would not see him for 2 months due to illness. During this period, she would pretend to be a maid of the Chu family and get closer to Chu Sensiu's life. Test out what Chu Sensiu is like. The king laughed after hearing this and said, "Don't worry. When the temptation is over, you will definitely marry him crying." The little princess immediately rolled her eyes when she heard the king's words, "Ha ha. How can it be?" The king did not refuse the little princess's proposal, so he announced that he was ill. At this time, the little princess had been secretly arranged by the royal family to join the Chu family and work as a little maid. After Chu Sensiu attended the royal banquet, he could go home and see the maid played by the little princess. Guerlain was very worried when she saw the little princess in a maid outfit and asked her. The little princess smiled. "I have already thought about it. I don't want to marry that nasty guy. I want to collect evidence to prove to my father that he is not a man who can be trusted with his whole life. Actually, Your Royal Highness, Chu Sensiu has a very good reputation in our country. He was rated as the national male some time ago." The little princess rolled her eyes. What qualifications does he have to be the national hero? Just because he is handsome? I think his brother is better than him, but he is just low-key and not known by the people. Marry him, it's better to marry Chu Shengming. But Chu Sensiu has a very charming personality. Moreover, Chu Sensiu has always been a leader in the charity industry in S country and has helped many people. Guerlain's eyes were shining when she talked about Chu Sensiu. The little princess turned coldly and looked at the infatuated Guerlain, almost forgetting that this girl was Chu Sensiu's crazy fan. "Forget it, I don't understand. Even if I tell you anyway, I don't want to marry Chu Sensiu," the little princess said, tidying up her clothes and getting ready to go to Chu's house. Chu Sensiu, just wait and see. End of this chapter.